Yo, what's going on, guys? And I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to be doing an SEC quarterback rankings. So for every 2 weeks, I'm going to be focusing on a particular conference. These 2 weeks will be the SEC. I already did my SEC team power rankings and the Florida season preview. I'm going to try to go through every single SEC team and do a preview for them and do a bunch of lists on the SEC. For the rest of this week and all of next week. And then the week after that will be a different conference like the ACC or the Pac-12. Then the 2 weeks after that will be another conference, and the 2 weeks after that, and so on and so on. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So coming in at number 14 on this list is the Auburn quarterback Malik Willis, I believe is his name. We just haven't seen anything of him passing, so I can't really put him any higher than 14 on this list. He seems like a decent dual threat quarterback. Seems like he could provide some type of Cam Newton, Nick Marshall type feel to the offense, which I think they desperately need. I certainly do not think he will be the worst quarterback in the SEC. I just haven't seen him throw a pass yet, so I can't really evaluate him as a passer. He seems like a good runner, and I have high hopes for him. And I think Auburn fans should keep a lookout for Malik Willis in the upcoming seasons. But I can't really put him any higher than 14 on this list just because I have not seen him throw a pass in college football yet. So coming in at number 13 is the Mississippi State quarterback Keaton Thompson, I believe is his name. I saw some flashes of him last year. He seems like a nice dual threat quarterback, kind of like a Malik Willis, actually is his name, type situation. I think he'll be decent, but I haven't seen much of him pass. He seemed okay as a passer. Seems like he has a lot of progression to do before he can be anything like Dak Prescott, which I've heard some Mississippi State fans say he could be. But I don't have super high hopes for him this season. He has to progress a lot as a passer. I think he'll just be kind of a wildcat type quarterback here for the first year. Of course, Mississippi State is going to be relying on their defense and ball control with their running backs. So I think he fits the offense perfectly, but he has a lot of progression to do in the upcoming years. So coming in at number 12 on this list is the Ball State transfer Riley Neal, I believe is his name. Yes, that is his name. He was okay at Ball State, wasn't fantastic, but then again, they were mostly a run-heavy offense. But while he was on the field, he was a decent quarterback. I don't think he'll be anything special. I don't think he'll be near as good as Kyle Shermer was. But, for a replacement quarterback, he's not that bad. He's not awful. He'll provide them with a decent passing game, a okay passing game, a reliable passing game, I think is the only way you could describe it. But, he's okay. He's nothing special, but he'll provide you with somewhat of a passing game. You're going to have to rely more on the running game, though, but if you need to pass the football, he is more than capable of doing that. So at the quarterback position, it's not a problem, but it's certainly not a strength in my opinion. So coming up next at number 11 is the Arkansas QB, the transfers from SMU, Ben Hicks. I think he's kind of like a Riley Neal type situation. I think he's an okay quarterback, not great. He'll provide you with a suitable passing game, but I think he's in a better situation than Riley Neal is. He's going to be put in an offensive throwing offense surrounded by a decent staff and a little bit of a better just overall location. He's going to a school that's more invested in football. I think the Arkansas is more invested in football than Vanderbilt. So I think he's around similar talent as Riley Neal, but he's just in a better spot. So that's why I'm putting him one ahead over Riley Neal on this list. So coming in at number 10, I think definitely the best quarterback on our list so far. It's Matt Corral or Corral, however you want to pronounce it. I saw him come in whenever Jordan Ta'amu was injured or was sitting out. He seemed decent. He didn't seem as good as Jordan Ta'amu, but then again, Jordan Ta'amu was a very, very good quarterback, but I think he'll be not too much of a drop from him, a noticeable drop, but not too much of a drop. Again, Ole Miss is probably going to rely on their elite passing game, and I think Matt Corral can provide them with that. He's not great, but he's a good, solid QB. I think he fits the system that Matt Luke wants to run there, and I think is a very suitable quarterback for Ole Miss. I just haven't seen a ton of him yet. so I can't put him much higher on this list. But I think he has the talent to be maybe the 6th or 5th best quarterback in the SEC. So I'm a believer in Matt Corral, however you want to pronounce it, and I hope he has a successful career in his time at Ole Miss. So coming in at number 9, people might want me to put Terry Wilson higher on this list. I'm just not a big believer in him personally. He can't throw the football. Simple as that. He's a good dual threat quarterback. Well, I guess more of a running back, honestly. He can run the ball well. He's an athlete. I'm not sure he has what it takes to be a quarterback in the SEC. I don't think he's great at throwing. I think that really weighed down Kentucky from being an elite team last year. I think Kentucky will never be an elite team until they find a better quarterback that can throw it well. And Terry Wilson is not that guy. He's a fine dual threat quarterback. He'll get you some wins. He'll provide you with a good running game. But just in the passing game, he just doesn't have what it takes, I'm afraid. So that's why he comes in here at number 9. So coming in at number 8 is a very, very controversial QB. It's Jarrett Guarantano. You know, he's a tough QB. Some Tennessee fans love him and think he's a top 5 SEC quarterback. And some Tennessee fans hate him and think that he's the worst SEC quarterback. I think he's about middle of the road. You know, he has shown flashes of being a good quarterback, but he's just too inconsistent. He has no pocket presence. He's a tough QB, but then again, tough doesn't necessarily mean wins. And Tennessee isn't going to be able to get up to the upper echelon with Georgia and Florida in the East until they find a better quarterback. Jarrett Guarantano is a suitable quarterback. He can get you some wins. He can make you be an average team, but he's just not the quarterback of the future for Tennessee, I'm afraid. Some Tennessee fans might agree with me. Some may wildly disagree. But, you know, this is my list, this is my opinion, so I'm sticking with Jarrett Guarantano here at number 8. So coming in at number 7 is another controversial QB. A lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people, are going to disagree with me on this. Some people think that Kelly Bryant should be number 2 or number 1 on this list. I just don't see it. I wasn't super impressed with him in his time at Clemson. Maybe that was because I was trying to compare him to Deshaun Watson, which clearly he's not as good as Deshaun Watson. I still don't think he's great. I think he's a middle-of-the-road, average QB. Good dual-threat quarterback, can run and can pass effectively, but nothing too special. So that's why I think he's just a middle-of-the-road QB. I think he is a distinct drop-off from Drew Lock. I think he's definitely not an improvement like some people have been saying. I think if you're a big believer in Kelly Bryant, you need to slow down and really take an evaluation on him and his time at Clemson and really watch the tapes. And then you'll see, I believe, what I see. That's just an average middle-of-the-road QB that has a lot of progression to do when it comes to his arm. So I hope a lot of people will agree with this. Coming in at number 6 is Joe Burrow. He can run and he can pass effectively. You know, a lot of people believe that he's on the brink of average to good, which I kind of think he is. He showed flashes of being a very good QB last year. But again, he showed some flashes of being just your standard LSU QB. Can run, but can't really pass well. I think he's the best QB LSU's had in quite a while. LSU's had a bad kind of stretch of QBs over the past couple years with, you know, guys like Danny Etling. But Joe Burrow is decent. He's definitely an improvement for what they've had over the past couple years. He can provide you with a passing game, and with LSU, a team that relies on physicality, running the football, and great defense, you don't really need exceptional passing. But he can pass decent and he can run well. So I think he's kind of the perfect QB for LSU, and I think he's a decent quarterback. That's why I'm putting in him here at number 6. So coming in at number 5, a lot of people like this QB, including myself, is Jake Bentley. You know, he's an underdog story. He's very scrappy QB. I was really fighting between putting him at either 5 or 6, above or below Joe Burrow. I decided to put him slightly above Joe Burrow just because I believe that he's a little bit better passer. He can run, even though he relies more on the passing game. And this is his last year with South Carolina, so I hope he really improves and shows that he can be a good to elite quarterback for South Carolina, and I hope he has an NFL career because of it. You know, he showed flashes last year of really improving, especially in that Clemson game. He's put in the work, and he just kind of personifies South Carolina. You know, maybe not the most talented team, maybe not the best team, but they will put in the effort and fight for their team through blood, sweat, and tears till the end. So coming in at number 4 is a QB that has made so much progress over the past couple years. It's Kellen Mond. You know, Kellen Mond went from a below-average QB a couple years ago to a average to good QB this year, and I think next year will be his crowning moment. I feel like he will really rise from the ashes and become the best QB that he possibly can be. You could have put an argument to put him way lower on this list or way higher on this list, but I'm a big believer in Kellen Mond. I think that he will take this Texas A&M team to heights that they haven't reached in a couple years under Jimbo Fisher. I feel like Jimbo Fisher has taught him a lot over the past year, and I feel like it'll really show this year. I'm a big believer in Kellen Mond, and if I were a Texas A&M fan, then I would be very, very excited for the future of your football team in 2019. So coming in at number 3, the only other QB that you can make an argument for that has made as much progression as Kellen Mond and Jake Bentley over the past couple years is Felipe Franks. Felipe Franks was, I believe, a 5-star recruit coming out of California. There was so much potential for him, and it looked like in his freshman season that he was going to be a disappointment under Jim McElwain. But Dan Mullen comes in and takes his play to unforeseen heights last year. And I think it's only going up for Felipe Franks. It was very, very up and down year last year, but I think he's going to be a lot more consistent and just overall a lot better of a QB for Florida this year. I feel like he kind of personifies Florida like Jake Bentley personifies South Carolina. Improving, going to be a lot more consistent and only going up from here to the future. So I have high hopes as a Florida fan for Felipe Franks. It's been so fun to watch him work with Dan Mullen and progress over the past couple years. And I think that he could potentially be a dark horse Heisman contender in 2019. So coming in at number 2, and coming from a Florida fan, the most annoying QB to go up against in the SEC is Jake Fromm. He's just so smart, such a great game manager. I think he'll be a first-round pick next year. I think in his last year at Georgia, he'll reach heights that he hasn't in the past and take Georgia to another extremely successful year this year. I wanted to put Felipe Franks ahead of Jake Fromm just because, that Florida fan bias, but that would be doing a severe crime to Jake Fromm. I cannot say enough positive things about Jake Fromm. Even though I dislike him, he's just been so incredible over the past couple years, from taking over for Jacob Eason in his freshman season, taking Georgia to the national championship that season, to last year really progressing as more of a passer. And I think he'll only go up next year, and I think Jake Fromm could be another dark horse Heisman contender. I'm not even sure you could call it a dark horse with how well he has played over the past couple of years. I think that Jake Fromm is poised to make a big impact on the college football league in 2019 and potentially be a top 10 pick next year, or at worst a first or second round pick. So I have high hopes for Jake Fromm in 2019, unfortunately, because I am a Florida fan. But Jake Fromm is he's going to blow it out of the park in 2019. I just know he will. So in my opinion, the best QB last year and will be the best QB this year in all of college football, it's Tua. Everybody saw this coming. Tua is he adds to the Alabama dynasty. It's all been about the running game and the defense over the past 10 years for Alabama. But now it's about the passing game and the exciting offense. And that's all because of Tua. Tua put up unprecedented numbers in the first half of the season, but then the second half, he kind of dipped, but he was still great in the second half of the season. It wasn't insanely noticeable. He was still the best QB in the college football league throughout the entire season, in my opinion. He was incredible last season. I think after this season, it'll be another successful season, and he'll be first overall picked in the draft. I am super high on Tua. The only concern I have for him is the ankle injury, but just from a talent perspective, nobody holds a candle to Tua's raw talent. He's a great dual threat QB, one of the best passers in college football, and one of the best runners in college football, and that combined just makes a freak in a quarterback position known as Tua. So if you're an LSU or an Auburn fan, good luck facing Tua this year. Even though you both have good defenses, Tua will pick them apart with ease, much like he has last year, and much like he will do to every single defense that steps up to him this year. And I'm confident that Tua will win the Heisman this year and get revenge for what I believe was a mistake last year in not giving him the Heisman. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the video, but stay tuned for the 2 weeks of the SEC. I'm going to be posting a lot over the next week or two. Just all SEC content, so I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have an amazing day, and peace.